Mother Nature's always going to win. She's going to win. I mean, the power of the ocean is like something you've never seen before. You are risking your life to make sure that somebody's life is going to be saved.
Get in their way, get in their way.
I pushed on his chest and then all foam bubbled out.
I don't know what to do. Has two GoPros on.
The nuance about red bathing suits and just, sitting in the sun all day, I've heard it my whole life.
A lot of people think that lifeguards are airheads and they just care about getting tan and listening to music and hanging out with each other, but you have to be paying attention at all times. There have been guards who have let their guard down and that came at the expense of someone else's life.
People that get involved with this profession, I don't think realize, quite honestly, how difficult the job is. But what we do here is save lives.
We are the first responders for anything that happens on the beach, whether it's in the water for a rescue, or it's on the beach with a medical, if it's up on the boardwalk, all different avenues that we look at and that we have to be responsible for.
We come to work every day. We don't know who we're going to help, what their name is, who we're going to meet, whether shit's going to hit the fan or it could just be a nice calm day at the beach and we're here to oversee the safety and the activity of the beachgoers. And we leave at the end of the day and knock on wood every day that we leave and everybody leaves safely with us.
This job is awesome because you get workout breaks. They want you to stay in shape so that you're physically fit and able to go and swim in rough waters and save someone.
That's what keeps a lot of people coming back every year, is that it's a healthy environment. They work out, they get a chance to use all of the toys and the equipment that we have, but ultimately those pieces of equipment that they're training on is getting them strong, physically fit, and able to handle all the challenges that the ocean will throw at them.
First, I became a lifeguard when I was 16 at a different beach. And then eventually I figured out that I wanted to pursue a career in the medical field. I wanted to be a physician assistant. In order to become a PA, you have to get about 1,000 hours of patient contact hours, and being an EMT falls under that category, which is why I decided to get that advanced certification and be an EMT. It kind of gave me the best of both worlds. You have to be very physically fit to be a lifeguard because they put you through pretty intense training.
The training process and what we do down here, I think the best two words I could think, comprehensive is number one and intense is another. We take what we do very serious down here. In Sea Girt, up and down the Jersey Shore, there's a lot of pride that goes into it.
The lifeguards in Monmouth County, I think, are like top notch. All the beaches are run very well. And it's just an honor to be able to work with these guys. You know, in the end, we're here to serve and help the people. And when there's situations that come up, when it comes to the beach, we're the ones that have to take the reins and do what we have to do to get it done.
But on any given day, anything can happen. It doesn't make a difference if it's 4th of July weekend or, again, the random Monday in June.
The skills that we're taught every day are going to come into play at some point. I remember it was just a gorgeous day. There was a little swell, but it was flat, a little swell. It was low tide, and it was beautiful weather. Like, it's gonna be a great day. We're gonna be busy.
It was so nice out. The weather was great, and I knew that it was low tide. It was very shallow. Came in for the morning meeting, and it was a big morning meeting that morning because it's the 4th of July, and it's about like 8:50 at this point. Tim is starting to give out our assignments for the day.
I looked at my watch, it said it's 8:52. We sat here just like this and we were just looking out. I was looking over here and there was a board and it was floating and we thought that was odd.
I was literally about to walk downstairs. Go downstairs, check everybody in, words of wisdom, any announcements for the day, let's be safe, let's have a good day, grab your kits, grab your radios, head on out to the beach. I never got to that point of the day because at 8:50 8:50 something in the morning, a call came over the police radio that dispatched the police first to Baltimore Boulevard Beach for CPR in progress.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Help us! Help us! I don't know what to do! I don't know what to do!
He was pretty far out and floating on his face.
I alerted a bystander to call for help, ran back down to the beach, and that's when I saw this person floating in the water. So I organized the three of us to pull him onto the shore.
As soon as we hit the shoreline, you know, we're gonna drag him in the sand, so we rolled him over, and that's when we saw his eyes wide open.
So he was very gray in color and foaming at the mouth, and certainly appeared, and I think technically was dead at that point. So I initiated CPR.
Does anyone have a mask or anything? Take his pulse. Do you have that?
I grabbed my radio, the police radio, ran downstairs. I pointed to a couple guards, not particularly picking anybody out. I need you to get in one of the gators. I got in my truck, and we all drove down to Baltimore Boulevard Beach for CPR in progress.
My friend Brianna Murphy and I think it was Ed Krauser too, hopped in one of the vehicles and drove over to Baltimore Boulevard, which is where the CPR was happening.
And then the next thing I knew, lifeguards were here on the quads.
We get down there and the victim was laying on his back. There were a few people around him. It appeared that he was just pulled out of the water.
He was cyanotic, so he was blue, eyes rolled back, and he was foaming at the mouth. So it was hard to see that. I had never seen anything like that in my life because I was a new EMT. I barely had any experience at that point. I think it was maybe my first or second shift.
Everything happened so fast on something like this. We found out that they did a round of CPR on the individual, and they were kind of like, okay, so-and-so, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna be all right. And when we got on scene, it was clear that that was not the case.
There was no heart rate, he wasn't breathing, so I started doing CPR compressions.
Come on, bud. Come on, hang with it. Hang with it.
And then I believe it was Tim who was taking basically charge of the scene, had us move the victim up.
We wound up moving the victim up the beach a little bit because he was at the water's edge. We needed to get the AED, the automated external defibrillator on him. And we didn't want to be in the water's edge. Found out that there could be possible neck injury involved in this.
Come on, bud. Come on, bud.
And I think maybe the best way to describe it is almost like a controlled but chaotic situation, because everyone's trying to figure out and ascertain what took place, how it took place, how long somebody could have possibly been submerged. I can remember when I got to the victim, we had somebody on the beach patrol already doing CPR. There was some quick decision making, and I made the decision to kind of get involved right away. I'm extremely comfortable with doing CPR. I've had to do it, a handful of times in my career, working on the beach, but I went immediately to the compression side of things and tried to do the best I could in directing what else needed to take place.
So we did approximately 8 minutes of CPR. The individual regained a pulse, and there were obvious signs of life. They weren't great, but they were there.
After this whole process, we had transported him to the ambulance. I really didn't think I was ever going to hear from him again.
So we came back to headquarters. We debriefed a little bit. I think everybody needed to take a deep breath. We got our equipment back together again, reset. By then it's about 10:30 in the morning, and we went back to work. You got to go back to work. We later found out his name is Paul Bouchard, local surfer, longtime surfer, very skilled individual.
When we first met, back in 1987. He was very into the surfing, obviously, by then. He would travel to South Carolina. He would travel to Puerto Rico. It's who my husband is. I know how he feels about me, and I know the surfing is right up there. It's just in his blood. It's part of his life.
I remember that I thought about paddling in to catch a smaller wave, and I remember thinking, yeah, I caught a left, and I just rail grabbed it and rode it, backside, and I can't really remember exactly what, I just remember, like, that's the last thing I remember, like, thinking about going to catch an inside wave, and then one particular instant, I remember looking at my board right in front of me, just totally looking at it like I'm here, I'm above, my eyes were above the surface, I'm looking at my board, and it's floating like 2 feet away from me, right in front of me. And my brain's telling me, just grab it. And I'm like, and I was like, nothing worked in my body, I couldn't do anything. I just thought about grabbing it, and I couldn't. And then, like, this all happened within seconds. And my next thought was, my cord was day-glow orange. My cord going to my foot. And it was, like, right in front of my face. It was like you grab the cord and you tug the board into yourself. Everybody does that. And, in fact, that's why I had the day-glow orange, so I could see it easier, because if I'm in surf, heavier surf, it's nice to have something bright to look at, white cord, white board, the phone's all white, and it's harder to find your board quick, So I looked at my cord and I was like, okay, grab it. And I couldn't, that was it. I just couldn't move. I wasn't in any fear or any, I didn't think about my family, or that's all I thought about, just grabbing that cord. And then if it was an out-of-body experience or if it really happened, I'm not sure. And then I just blacked out from there. And I think it was like determined that, I had a fractured neck and I had a spinal cord injury. Well, I was completely paralyzed from the neck down. I gotta get myself together. So I heard a horrible noise, and I just heard this terrible noise. And I realized now it was myself trying to breathe. Then my eyes woke up. I could see. I was facing the sun, looking straight up. And I was being pushed into a transport ambulance. And I thought I was in a dream.
Paul's an extraordinary case. He had a devastating spinal cord injury. He was unable to move his extremities. He stopped breathing, his lungs filled with fluid. People were there to treat him right away. Had he not had someone there to provide life-saving CPR, he would have had an anoxic brain injury, meaning he wouldn't have had oxygen to his brain. His recovery is what it is because someone started his heart immediately. Coming into the ER, telling us that, letting us know that his heart stopped and that someone had restarted allows us to tailor that care. It's critical that we have a relationship with the lifeguards, with the EMTs, the paramedics that see these patients, that really bridges them and brings them into our hospital in a state that we can do what we need to do.
Our guys did a great job. They saved somebody's life that day. We did everything we could to give that guy a second chance at life, and I am extremely proud of my staff and the lifeguards that work here for how they handled themselves that day. It was evident the training kicked in, and they went to work. They just went to work.
So after I came out of rehab and in the hospital, I went down, I wanted to meet the lifeguards.
The training that all you lifeguards do is second to none, and I know how seriously you take it, and you know, this crew saved my life. There's no doubt in my mind. Lifeguards, there's something missing from that. Lifesavers, bottom line.
My sister-in-law Joni addressed them. Just had to, like, one thing I remember her saying for sure was like thanking them and saying one life is so important to so many people. You know, like you guys say one life, but that life is so important to so many. If you're a lifeguard, you're potentially going to save someone's life, and it could happen at any second. Before you go on shift, after you get off shift, in the middle of your shift, you know, you could be ready to go on break. It can happen at that time. All of a sudden, it's like response is like immediate. Anything can happen at any time, and they could respond, you know, and do what they're trained to do. You know, pull people out of the ocean, perform life-saving methods, and it's a real serious job. And it's I'm so thankful for all the lifeguards out there.
Take a moment to thank you all for watching this film. My name is Chad Desatnik. The Desatnik Foundation offers financial, emotional, and mental support for those individuals that have suffered spinal cord injury and paralysis. For more information, check us out at www.desatnikfoundation.org.